Man United's secret weapon could land Benjamin Sesko, the £60 million transfer that changes everything. Welcome to Unite United News, your most trusted and reliable source for everything Manchester United. While other outlets chase clicks with wild rumors and speculation, we bring you the facts, the analysis, and the insider knowledge that matters most to United fans worldwide. Our commitment to honest reporting and deep insights has made us the go-to destination for supporters who want the real story behind every transfer, every tactical decision, and every development at Old Trafford. Today, we explore a fascinating transfer story that could reshape United's attack for years to come. The transfer bombshell that nobody expected. Picture this scenario. You wake up tomorrow morning to find that Manchester United have signed one of Europe's most promising young strikers. Not just any striker, but a player who could solve their goal-scoring problems for the next decade. This might sound like fantasy, but the Benjamin Sesko transfer story has all the ingredients of a genuine blockbuster move that could happen sooner than anyone thinks. The situation has now moved beyond speculation and internal discussions. Manchester United have initiated moves for Benjamin Sesko, opening concrete talks after weeks of internal discussions. This is no longer just interest or monitoring. United are now actively pursuing the Slovenian striker with real determination. The 21-year-old Slovenian has been turning heads across Europe with his performances for RB Leipzig. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches tall, Sesko combines physical presence with technical ability in a way that has made him one of the most sought-after strikers in world football. But here's the twist that makes this story even more intriguing. Manchester United might have a secret advantage in the race to sign him. What if we told you that United have an inside track to landing Sesko thanks to someone already working at Old Trafford? What if this person knows exactly what makes the young striker tick and has been watching his development closely? This is not just another transfer rumor. This is a story about connections, strategy, and how football transfers really work behind the scenes. Why United desperately need a new striker. Before we dive into the Sesko specifics, let's be honest about Manchester United's current situation up front. The Red Devils have been crying out for a reliable goalscorer for what feels like years. Since the departure of certain legendary figures, United have struggled to find someone who can guarantee 20 to 25 goals per season. Ruben Amorim knows this better than anyone. The Portuguese manager has made it clear that finding a new striker is one of his top priorities this summer. United have already spent big money on Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, showing they have funds available, but the striker position remains a massive concern. The current options at Old Trafford tell their own story. Rasmus Højlund showed promise in his first season but is still learning and developing. Joshua Zirkzee arrived with potential but needs time to adapt to Premier League football. Marcus Rashford can play up front but is more effective coming from wide positions. The lack of a proven, consistent goalscorer is obvious to everyone who watches United play. This is where Sesko comes into the picture. The young Slovenian represents exactly the type of signing that could transform United's attack. He has the physical attributes to succeed in English football, the technical skills to link up play, and most importantly, the goal-scoring instinct that United have been missing. But why would a player like Sesko choose United over other interested clubs? And how realistic is this transfer given the competition from other top teams? The answers might surprise you and show just how clever United's recruitment strategy has become. The Viktor Gyökeres disappointment that changed everything. To understand why Sesko has suddenly become such an important target for United, we need to go back to the Viktor Gyökeres saga. The Swedish striker was widely expected to reunite with Amorim at Old Trafford after their successful partnership at Sporting CP. Gyökeres seemed like the perfect fit for United. He knew Amorim's system inside out, had proven himself capable of scoring goals at the highest level, and was entering his prime years as a striker. United fans were getting excited about the prospect of signing someone who could immediately improve their attack. However, football transfers are never as straightforward as they seem. Despite the obvious connection between player and manager, Gyökeres ended up joining Arsenal instead. The £63.7 million move to the Emirates was completed over the weekend, leaving United and Amorim back at square one in their search for a new striker. This rejection was more than just a disappointment. It was a wake-up call that showed United they needed to have backup plans and alternative targets ready. The transfer window moves fast, and clubs that hesitate or put all their eggs in one basket often end up empty-handed. The Gyökeres situation also highlighted something important about modern football transfers. Having a connection with a manager is not always enough to secure a deal. Players consider many factors when choosing their next club, including the overall project, playing style, location, and competition for places. Breaking, United make their move. The story has now taken a dramatic turn that changes everything. Manchester United have initiated moves for Benjamin Sesko, opening concrete talks after weeks of internal discussions. This is the news that United fans have been waiting to hear. The club is no longer just monitoring or considering the Slovenian striker. They are actively pursuing him with concrete action. This development transforms the entire narrative around Sesko's potential move to Old Trafford. What started as speculation and internal discussions has now become a real, active pursuit. United's initiation of concrete talks shows they have moved past the assessment phase and are now serious about making this transfer happen. The timing of this move is crucial. With the transfer window moving into its final weeks and competition from other clubs intensifying, United have decided they cannot afford to wait any longer. The initiation of concrete talks suggests that all the internal discussions, scouting reports, and strategic planning have led to a clear decision. Benjamin Sesko is the striker they want. Enter Benjamin Sesko, the perfect alternative. Benjamin Sesko represents everything that modern football scouts look for in a young striker. At just 21 years old, he has already shown he can perform at the highest level of European football. His record at RB Leipzig speaks for itself, and his performances for Slovenia have caught the attention of Europe's biggest clubs. What makes Sesko so special as a player? First, there's his physical presence. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches, he has the height and strength to compete with Premier League defenders. This physical advantage would be particularly valuable for United, who have sometimes struggled against teams that defend deep and make aerial challenges important. But Sesko is not just about physical attributes. The Slovenian has shown impressive technical ability throughout his career. He can hold up play, bring teammates into the game, and create chances for others as well as himself. This versatility would fit perfectly into Amorim's tactical system, which requires forwards to contribute to overall team play. The goal-scoring record is equally impressive. Sesko has consistently found the net at different levels of football, showing the kind of instinct that cannot be taught. He knows where to be in the penalty area, has good movement off the ball, and can finish with both feet. Perhaps most importantly for United, Sesko is still young enough to develop further. At 21, he has his best years ahead of him and could potentially serve the club for a decade or more. This long-term thinking is exactly what United need as they try to build a sustainable success model. The timing also works in United's favor. Sesko had been linked with Arsenal earlier in the summer, but that move never materialized. With Gyökeres now at the Emirates, Arsenal might not be in the market for another striker, potentially clearing the path for United to make their move. Christopher Vivel, United's secret weapon. Here's where the story gets really interesting and shows just how smart United's recruitment operation has become. The club's secret weapon in the race for Sesko is someone who knows the player better than almost anyone else in English football. Christopher Vivel. Vivel is United's director of recruitment, but his background makes him uniquely qualified to assess Sesko's potential. The German executive previously worked at RB Leipzig, the same club where Sesko currently plays. This inside knowledge could prove invaluable in convincing the young striker to choose Old Trafford over other potential destinations. But Vivel's connection to Sesko goes deeper than just working at the same club. Reports suggest that he has been actively monitoring the Slovenian's development, even attending Leipzig matches to watch him play. Last season, Vivel was spotted at Leipzig's game against Wolfsburg, specifically to assess Sesko's performance. This level of personal attention from a recruitment director shows how seriously United are taking this potential transfer. Vivel is not just relying on video analysis or scouting reports. He is putting in the groundwork to understand exactly what type of player and person Sesko is. The recent development that Manchester United have initiated moves for Sesko changes the entire dynamic of this transfer story. The club has moved from internal discussions to concrete action, showing they are serious about bringing the young Slovenian to Old Trafford. This progression from assessment to active pursuit demonstrates how United's recruitment process works under their current structure. The weeks of internal discussions allowed them to thoroughly evaluate Sesko as a target, consider the financial implications, and plan their approach. Now that they have initiated concrete talks, it suggests all systems are go for this potential transfer. Vival can also provide Amorim with detailed insights into how Sesko might fit into United's tactical system. This inside knowledge could help the manager make informed decisions about how to use the player and what role he might play in the team's long-term plans. The £60 million price tag. Is it worth it? Money talks in modern football, and the reported £60 million price tag for Sesko is significant but not unreasonable in today's market. When you consider what clubs are paying for proven strikers, this fee actually looks quite reasonable for a player of Sesko's age and potential. RB Leipzig are reportedly holding out for this amount, and they have good reasons to do so. Sesko is under contract and has been one of their most important players. The German club also has a reputation for developing young talent and selling them for significant profits, so they know the value of what they have. From United's perspective, £60 million represents a significant investment, but one that could pay dividends for years to come. If Sesko develops as expected, he could become worth much more than this initial fee. The transfer market has shown repeatedly that quality strikers only become more expensive over time. The financial aspect also needs to be considered in the context of United's overall transfer strategy. The club has already shown they are willing to spend money this summer with the Mbumo and Cunha signings. Adding Sesko to this list would demonstrate serious ambition and intent. There's also the question of installments and payment structure. Modern transfers are rarely paid as lump sums, and United's negotiators would likely try to structure a deal that spreads the cost over several years. This approach would help manage the immediate financial impact while still securing the player. The competition, Newcastle's threat. United are not the only club interested in Benjamin Sesko, and this is where the transfer story becomes even more intriguing. Newcastle United have emerged as serious contenders for the Slovenian signature, and they have their own compelling reasons for wanting to sign him. The Magpies are facing a potential crisis up front with Alexander Isak reportedly informing the club of his desire to explore other options. If the Swedish striker leaves St. James Park, Newcastle would desperately need a replacement, and Sesko fits the profile perfectly. Newcastle's interest adds urgency to United's pursuit of Sesko. The competition between two ambitious Premier League clubs could drive up the price and make negotiations more complicated. It also means that United cannot afford to delay their decision-making if they genuinely want to sign the player. The fact that Manchester United have initiated moves for Sesko puts the club in a strong position compared to their rivals. While other clubs might still be in the consideration phase, United have already moved to concrete action. This proactive approach could give them a crucial advantage in securing the player's signature. The initiation of concrete talks also suggests that United are confident about their chances of completing this deal. The club would not move from internal discussions to active negotiations unless they believed they had a realistic path to signing Sesko. This confidence might stem from Vival's inside knowledge, the player's interest in the project, or positive initial feedback from the player's representatives. Fabrizio Romano, the reliable transfer journalist, has indicated that the situation could develop quickly. He suggested that Newcastle will make an important proposal and that United will continue internal discussions about whether they can complete a deal. This suggests that both clubs are serious about their interest. The next 7 to 10 days could be crucial in determining Sesko's future. If Newcastle lose Isak and become desperate for a replacement, they might be willing to pay over the odds for Sesko. Conversely, if United can move quickly and decisively, they might be able to wrap up a deal before the competition intensifies further. What Sesko would bring to United's attack. Imagine Sesko lining up in a United shirt at Old Trafford. What would he actually bring to Amorim's team, and how would he fit into the manager's tactical system? The answers reveal why this transfer makes so much sense from a football perspective. First, Sesko would provide the physical presence that United have been missing. His height and strength would make United more dangerous from set pieces, both defensively and offensively. Opposition teams would have to deal with a genuine aerial threat, which could create space and opportunities for other players. The Slovenian's hold-up play would also be valuable for United's overall game plan. He can receive the ball with his back to goal, bring teammates into play, and create attacking moves through link-up play. This ability would be particularly useful when United face teams that defend deep and make it difficult to play through them. Sesko's movement in the penalty area is another key attribute that would benefit United. The young striker has shown excellent instincts for finding space and getting on the end of crosses and through balls. This poacher's instinct is exactly what United need to convert more of their attacking moves into goals. The versatility factor cannot be overlooked either. While Sesko is primarily a central striker, he has shown the ability to drift wide and create problems for defenders in different areas of the pitch. This flexibility would give Amorim more tactical options and make United's attack less predictable. Perhaps most importantly, Sesko would bring youth and hunger to United's forward line. At 21, he is at the perfect age to develop further while already being ready to contribute immediately. This combination of present ability and future potential is rare in the transfer market. The tactical fit under Amorim. Ruben Amorim's tactical system requires specific types of players, and Sesko appears to tick all the boxes that the Portuguese manager looks for in a striker. Understanding this tactical fit is crucial to appreciating why United are so interested in the Slovenian. Amorim typically uses formations that require forwards to work hard off the ball and contribute to the team's pressing game. Sesko has shown throughout his career that he is willing to do the defensive work required in modern football. He tracks back, hassles defenders, and contributes to his team's overall defensive structure. The Portuguese manager also values players who can play in tight spaces and link up with teammates effectively. Sesko's technical ability and first touch would allow him to operate in the congested areas of the pitch where Amorim's teams often create their best chances. Set-piece delivery is another area where Sesko would add value to Amorim's system. United have struggled to make the most of their set-piece opportunities in recent seasons, but having a genuine aerial threat like Sesko would change the dynamics completely. The work rate and attitude factors are equally important. Amorim demands high levels of commitment and professionalism from his players, and Sesko has shown these qualities throughout his career. The young striker's mentality appears to match what the manager is looking for in his squad. Learning from past transfer mistakes. Manchester United's recent transfer history is littered with expensive mistakes and players who failed to live up to expectations. The club cannot afford to repeat these errors, which makes the thorough assessment of Sesko even more important. The presence of Christopher Vival in the recruitment process represents a more professional and systematic approach to transfers. Instead of making decisions based on reputation or highlight reels, United are now using insider knowledge and detailed analysis to inform their choices. Sesko's age profile also suggests that United are learning from past mistakes. Instead of signing players who are already at their peak and might decline quickly, the club is targeting someone who has room to grow and develop. This long-term thinking could help avoid the rapid depreciation in value that has affected some recent signings. The character assessment is another area where United appear to be more thorough. Reports suggest that Sesko has the right mentality and attitude to succeed at a big club. This psychological evaluation is crucial because technical ability alone is not enough to guarantee success at Old Trafford. The financial strategy behind the move. Understanding the financial implications of signing Sesko requires looking beyond the initial transfer fee. The £60 million price tag is just the starting point in what would be a significant financial commitment from United. The player's wages would need to be competitive enough to attract him away from Leipzig and other interested clubs. While Sesko is still young, his performances have earned him the right to demand a substantial salary increase. United would need to factor this ongoing cost into their calculations. There are also the additional costs associated with any major transfer. Agent fees, signing bonuses, and various other expenses can add millions to the total cost of a deal. These hidden costs often make transfers more expensive than the headline figures suggest. However, the potential return on investment could justify the initial outlay. If Sesko develops as expected, he could become one of Europe's most valuable strikers within a few years. The resale value alone could make this a smart financial decision, even before considering the on-field benefits. The commercial aspects are worth considering too. Signing a young, exciting striker would generate buzz among United fans and could boost merchandise sales, ticket demand, and global interest in the club. These revenue streams could help offset the initial investment over time. What happens if United miss out? The consequences of failing to sign Sesko could be significant for United's season and longer-term plans. With the Premier League campaign starting soon, the club needs to have clarity about their striking options before the window closes. If United miss out on Sesko, they would need to quickly identify alternative targets. The problem is that quality strikers are in short supply, and other options might be more expensive or less suitable for Amorim's system. There's also the psychological impact to consider. Missing out on multiple striker targets could affect squad morale and send the wrong message about the club's ambitions. Players and fans alike want to see evidence that United are serious about competing at the highest level. The competitive implications could be even more significant. If Newcastle sign Sesko and keep Alexander Isak, they would have a formidable striking partnership that could help them challenge for European qualification. United cannot afford to let rivals strengthen while they remain static. The broader context of United's transfer strategy. The Sesko pursuit fits into a broader pattern of transfer activity that suggests United are becoming more strategic and professional in their approach to the market. The club appears to be moving away from panic buying and short-term fixes toward more thoughtful, long-term planning. The appointment of professionals like Christopher Vival represents a recognition that successful recruitment requires expertise and detailed knowledge. United are building a network of contacts and relationships that should serve them well in future transfer windows. The focus on younger players with development potential also suggests a shift in philosophy. Instead of trying to buy ready-made superstars, United are targeting players who can grow with the club and potentially become superstars under their guidance. This approach requires patience and faith in the coaching staff's ability to develop talent. However, it could prove more sustainable and cost-effective than the scattergun approach that characterized some previous transfer windows. Fan expectations and reality. United fans have learned to be cautious about transfer speculation after years of disappointment and failed pursuits. However, the Sesko link has generated genuine excitement because it makes sense from multiple perspectives. The combination of Vival's inside knowledge, Amorim's need for a striker, and Sesko's suitability for the Premier League creates a compelling narrative that fans can believe in. This is not just wishful thinking or media speculation. There are real reasons to think this transfer could happen. However, fans also understand that football transfers are unpredictable and that many factors can derail even the most logical moves. The competition from Newcastle, potential changes in Leipzig's stance, and the player's own preferences could all influence the final outcome. The key for United supporters is to remain optimistic while being realistic about the challenges involved in completing such a significant transfer. The club has made positive moves in the market this summer, showing that they have both the ambition and the resources to compete for top players. The timeline and what to watch for. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining whether United can complete the Sesko transfer. Several factors will influence the timeline and the likelihood of success. First, Newcastle's actions regarding Alexander Isak will be important. If the Swedish striker leaves St. James' Park, it could increase the urgency of their pursuit of Sesko and potentially trigger a bidding war with United. Second, Leipzig's stance on the transfer will be crucial. The German club might become more willing to sell if they receive an offer that meets their valuation, but they could also decide to keep the player for another season. Third, Sesko's own preferences will ultimately determine the outcome. The player will need to decide which club offers the best opportunity for his career development and which project appeals to him most. United fans should watch for several key indicators in the coming days. Increased media speculation, reports of formal bids, and comments from the player or his representatives could all signal that a deal is moving closer to completion. Conclusion: a transfer that could define United's future. The Benjamin Sesko transfer story represents much more than just another potential signing for Manchester United. It symbolizes the club's evolution toward a more professional, strategic approach to recruitment and their commitment to building for the future rather than just the present. Christopher Vival's role as the secret weapon in this pursuit shows how United are leveraging their resources and connections to gain advantages in the transfer market. The German's inside knowledge of Sesko could prove decisive in convincing the player to choose Old Trafford over other options. The financial commitment required to sign Sesko is significant but justified given his potential and the club's needs. At £60 million, the Slovenian would represent exactly the type of investment that successful clubs make, buying young, talented players before they reach their peak value. The competition from Newcastle adds urgency and complexity to the situation, but it also demonstrates that United are targeting the right type of player. When multiple ambitious clubs want the same player, it usually indicates that he has something special to offer. For Ruben Amorim, signing Sesko could be the missing piece that transforms United's attack and gives them the goal-scoring threat they have been lacking. The tactical fit appears perfect, and the player's attributes match exactly what the Portuguese manager needs for his system. The broader implications of this transfer could extend far beyond just one player. Success in signing Sesko would show that United's new recruitment strategy is working, and that the club can compete with anyone for the best young talent in Europe. However, even if this particular deal doesn't come off, the way United are approaching it demonstrates positive changes in how they conduct their transfer business. The professional assessment, the long-term thinking, and the strategic use of connections all point to a more mature approach to the market. As we wait to see how this story develops, one thing is clear. Manchester United are no longer content to be passive observers in the transfer market. They have identified their target, they have a plan to get him, and they have the resources to make it happen. Whether they can execute that plan successfully will determine not just their striking options for the new season, but also their credibility as a club that can compete at the highest level. Thank you for choosing Unite United News as your trusted source for the most comprehensive and reliable Manchester United coverage. We will continue to monitor this developing story and bring you all the latest updates as they happen. Our commitment to factual reporting and detailed analysis ensures you get the information you need to understand every aspect of United's transfer activities. Keep following us for more exclusive insights that you won't find anywhere else, because at Unite United News, we don't just report the news. We help you understand what it really means for our beloved club.